Hello and welcome to our pre-NRF interview with Steve Kramer, CEO and founder of WorkJam. We're stood in a very lovely location just round the corner from NRF Asia. Steve, I forgot before we go, are you actually expoing or are you here as a visitor?
We are at Expo. We're speaking at the event. We have a booth at the event, and we were really excited to be part of the first NRF in this region.
Oh, fantastic. Well, listen, without further ado, why don't we maybe start unpacking a little bit about who you are, how did you become a CEO, founder of WorkJam?
Sure.
And then we'll focus in on WorkJam.
Okay, great. Well, I've been in the retail technology business for around 25 years now. So we started our first company in 1999. It was an e-commerce software company called iCongo, based in Montreal, Canada. I'm from Montreal.
Oh, cool.
And we grew that to become one of the global leaders, both in retail e-commerce platforms as well as B2B commerce platforms. We ended up merging in 2010 with our European competitor called Hybris. So iCongo became Hybris. We went on to become the dominant player in the industry for enterprise commerce technology, and ultimately ended up exiting to SAP in 2013.
Okay.
So I stayed on at SAP for 2 years, loved it. SAP is a phenomenal organization. And, after 2 years, I wanted to get back to something entrepreneurial. I missed being, close to customers. I wasn't in that role anymore and building something. I couldn't do anything in e-commerce as a result of some non-competes that I had. So I started looking into what else was keeping executives up at night. And as I spoke to a lot of retail executives, people in the manufacturing distribution areas and so forth, I found that the workforce, actually, this was like in 2014, was something that was causing a lot of anxiety.
Right.
You had millennials just starting to come into the workforce, and people were worried about that. How were we going to communicate with millennials? They're very different from the traditional worker. In the U.S., you had President Obama that was starting to take notice around the social economic issues around unfair scheduling practices for hourly workers.
Yeah.
So I noticed this. It was an interesting time where there was really a transformation that was needed around how organizations were communicating and managing with their frontline staff.
Yeah.
And as a result, we took the concepts of e-commerce and really applied it to workforce management to create a experiential platform, a transactional platform for frontline workers, where a large organization would be able to better manage their hourly staff, their non-desk workers, and drive better results in their business.
Oh, wow, fantastic. So you definitely have the entrepreneurial bug. You can't, as much as you try and work in the corporate world, it's doable, but not where your heart is. So, I mean, tell me some what are the problems that when you must meet so many retailers, and I'm sure you're going to meet a bunch of retailers here. What's the thing that they come for you to solve?
They're solving business problems. They're trying to achieve operational efficiencies. They're trying to cut costs. That comes in the forms of either task management, where they have use cases around compliance in the field that they're trying to solve. They are predominantly right now also trying to communicate better with the field. That was a factor. That was like an effect of COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Like when COVID happened, there were very few tools out there to be able to communicate with the front line.
And processes.
Processes,
right. They didn't have a process to actually talk to the front line. Area managers, maybe.
Yeah, they had
Store
email.
Manager might push.
Yeah, because they had email addresses, right? But frontline employees, they don't have email. They don't have the tools that we have as desk workers. So it's operational efficiency, it's communication, it's learning, comes in those forms. Flexible scheduling is another area where they're coming to us around solving business issues. Ultimately, as we get into conversations with prospects, we start unfolding other issues that are happening in the organization. And the front line is a underserved market right now. 75% of companies have not invested in their frontline work tech, and when they have, they've landed up with a disparate group of applications that a frontline employee needs to use.
Yeah.
So on average, we did a study a couple years ago with Forrester Research. On average, companies around the world have 4 to 5 apps that a frontline employee needs to use in order to do their job.
Wow.
And we've seen it up to 8 or 9 in some cases. And it's hard enough being a frontline employee. Imagine having to use so many applications on the floor of a plant or a distribution center and a retail environment to do your job. So consolidation of apps, simplicity, is a very big focus that we are seeing as well in the industry right now.
That's fantastic. I mean, as I said, how do you get, in terms of do you get to spend time with the store associates or the store managers as part?
We do. Yeah, we love to visit stores. We love to hear about what is important to them. The reality is that the hourly workers know so much about the business. They know about the problems. They have ideas on how to solve them. So being able to speak to the hourly associates and our prospects or our customers is important to us to start, to continue to innovate in our product to build these operational tools, but also to help organizations figure out the digital transformation that needs to drive these efficiencies that they're looking for.
And do you think retailers, in terms of the outcomes, can you sort of focus in on some of the real world examples where something that surprised you, that when one of your customers, you sort of went in to do one thing and you came out with something else?
I mean, one of our customers, JCPenney in the U.S., they're a large big box retailer, discount retailer, around 70,000 employees. The project that we started with them was really around flexible scheduling and being able to have an open shift marketplace where employees they get their core schedule, but they can pick up an extra shift. They can work at a different location than their primary location. We coupled that with communication tools, and those communication tools had a profound impact on the culture of JCPenney, but also the level of engagement and loyalty to the organization. I think the impact was much wider actually than JCPenney ever anticipated as well. So in addition to labor optimization through flexible scheduling, JCPenney actually had almost a 10% reduction in attrition.
Wow.
That's a big number. Like in retail, on average, in many markets, it costs anywhere between $4,000 to $5,000 to recruit and train a new employee. If you can reduce your turnover by those types of numbers, it's
significant amount,
millions of dollars at scale. The number of referrals that they began to have from employees telling other friends or colleagues that they should join JCPenney tripled.
Oh, wow.
And in an environment where there's still a labor shortage, it's very difficult to find skilled workers. That's very important. So we see a lot of these things where you're solving one business issue, but when you give the voice to the employee and they feel part of the culture, and they feel like they understand the head office's goals, has a big impact on the business and on those employees' lives.
Yeah, I absolutely couldn't agree. And I think Target used to talk about the number of devices that their colleagues or team members had on belts.
Yes.
They had the walkie-talkies, they had the handhelds. So just to focus in a little bit on the tech, what device you sit on? You're agnostic?
It could be bring your own device. So a lot of our customers have
Android, Apple.
Android, Apple, responsive on web as well for both mobile and desktop use. We often sit on shared devices in the stores as well. We have a kiosk version of WorkJam as well that is kind of always on for a location. So there's a lot of deployment optionality. We're also able to sit inside of other collaboration tools. So if you're using, Teams as an example, or your managers are in Salesforce, we can actually bring WorkJam to those users rather than bringing the users to WorkJam and having another app that they need to use.
Oh, wow.
And many of our customers tend to deploy in a hybrid model where corporate might be using Teams for their desk workers, which could go down to, let's say, the manager level. Managers will use WorkJam inside of Teams, but the field is using WorkJam native.
Okay.
I think that the focus has to be for success on the experience.
Yeah. Final two questions in terms of, obviously, how old's the company?
The company is 9 years old.
So 9 years old, and you specifically just focus in on scheduling, communication. I'm just curious. Would you move into other areas like? Do you do task management?
We do. Yeah, we have five main pillars. So the five main pillars are: we have two-way communication.
Got you.
A suite of communication tools.
Is that voice, text?
That's everything from social network within the app to messaging, chat channels, digital doorways into other applications in the organization. So two-way communication is pillar number one. We do task management. That goes well beyond just traditional task. It goes into audit capability and also being able to integrate with other applications for task completion. Schedule management. So we tend to sit on top of core workforce management applications to expose self-service capabilities and OpenShift marketplace capabilities, and then learning. And lastly is earned wage access. So it is a modular system. Many of our customers will start their digital transformation with, let's say, one or two modules.
Yeah.
And then they tend to grow into the rest of the application.
Fantastic. So it's quite comprehensive. Final question. In terms of when you look to the future, not only where you want to be, but in terms of the future of the store associate, how do you see that? Do you have a vision like how you see an empowered, because obviously that's what you're about, empowering the front line. I'm just curious how you see the future of that.
Well, I think that, first off, I don't think AI is going to replace the frontline worker. But I believe that AI will have a profound impact on how organizations operate and how the data that is being collected and the actionable insights that come out of AI can really elevate an organization to the next level. As for us as an organization, we're investing a lot in AI. We're constantly investing in the experience. I think the experience is what drives the type of adoption that we're seeing in our customers, which is typically around 80% daily active usage of the app.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of like blowout numbers compared to an intranet, which is 20 and 25%.
Got you.
And for us as an organization, we're going global. So we are a Canadian-based organization. We have many customers, large customers in the US, in Australia, in the UK. Southeast Asia for us is a new market that we're opening. We already have some large customers here, but we feel as though the problems that we're solving, they're not regional. These are global issues. You know, in Singapore, where we are today, the retailers that we're speaking to have the same problems as the companies in New York, in London, in Melbourne.
It's a human problem.
It's a human problem, exactly.
Okay, so more humanistic. We're going to go off on a complete tangent, but coming back from Shanghai, what I learned there was it doesn't matter what technology can do, you're still going to end up with human problems. Well, listen, it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for allowing, giving up some time before.
Yeah, that's great. An amazing view here.
Yeah,
thank you.
Hopefully I'll see you at the show.